Alright everybody, I'm here to give you another Walking Dead review. This one is now, actually I gotta go, Season 4, Episode 7, and it's called Dead Weight, and it came out on November 24th, 2013, um, and this was good. I really liked this one. It focused more on the governor yet again, or actually all the governor. It was more of a flashback, um, and it shows, Megan playing chess. Um, and she's trying to think about her next move because she's still learning how to play. And Philip is saying you don't have to always think. You have to do all the time, referring to what you have to do in this world that they're living in now. And she's like, what's the point? You're not going to let me win anyways. And Philip says, well, or Brian, whatever you want to call him, because he's lying and saying his name's really Brian. Philip says, well, that's not really winning. And she asks, and he says, my father used to beat me at everything all the time. She asks, like, was your father ever bad? And he said sometimes. And he says, were you bad? And he says sometimes. And then she says, my father, am I bad all the time? And Philip says, what would make you say that? And he said, because my father was always mad at me. And then she says that you're not bad, well, you're good, and you're gonna survive this. And then Megan asks, are we all good? And he doesn't really give an answer. And during this, it cut to like the scene when Philip was in that hole with Megan, and Martinez, and I think two other guys. I think they were, who we find out later on, named Pete and Mitch, their names, and they help them out of the hole. And this Martinez finds out that his name's now Brian, his fake name, and they didn't at first want to take them because they don't really have enough people as it is. But then Philip says, but then Martinez says they have a little kid, we gotta take him. Mitch is the one that didn't want to take him, and Philip did, and Pete did. And Martinez says tells Philip that if you go with us, it's my call. I am the leader. And I think Philip agrees to this, and then it cut to the theme song. After Philip had looked away, and Megan had finally made her move, and in the chest, and Philip's like, hold on, I'm thinking. And he was doing laundry too as this was going on. So then it gets back to reality, and now they're at the camp, and the RV leaks a lot. And Lily, who is says she's gonna set up a whole nurse, a nurse, a like hospital there, so she can use her nurse expertise. And Philip, he's gonna go on a run with Pete, Martinez, and Mitch, and going for a hunt. And they can't fish because there's no real place to fish. There's no the water's dead. So they come across this cabin, and they see this guy that was there who had died, and he had a family and everything, and they're gonna look for his place for supplies. And they find some walkers, which Philip beats the crap out of him with his gun. And then they set up a fire, and Martinez says, are you a different person now than you are Woodbury? And he says, yeah. And he says the only reason he took him in was because he had a little girl with him. And then they talk about and we find out what people did when they were, before this had happened. I think Pete said that he was an ice cream truck driver, and then he went, and then, no, I think it was Mitch, actually, that was the ice cream truck driver. And then, he says now he has a tank, and, he says, who cares about the end of the world when you have a tank? And, then Pete says he was in the army for a while, and he stayed in Fort Benning, and he stayed there for a while, and then left. And then, Philip says, they asked Philip what he did, and we know what he did, but he said, I survived. And then, back at camp, before we even met this, and they have a ton of campers there. It wasn't an RV, it was campers. And we meet this girl now, Alicia, and we find out that she was on the army base before, and she knows how to work a gun and everything, and her and Taylor are getting along mint. And I thought, and it was all fine and dandy. So then, now back to the reality, everyone's eating dinner, and they're all just having a good time. They finally feel safe. And Lily wants to hear about the town that Philip has, and I guess they agree. And Martinez says that they will. And then the roof leaks again, and Philip has to fix it. And then Martinez says that he has a surprise for him, and he starts golfing, which was a nice touch. And Philip, they talk about how they had to put down the other guy they had, that black guy, and because Woodbury really messed him up, and he had to kill him because he was just changed. And he said that everyone takes different experiences from it. And Martinez then ends up saying, man, I suck at golf. And then Philip hits him off the back of the head with a golf club. So that proves he hasn't changed at all. I was expecting him to do something crazy like this, and I didn't know when it was going to happen, but it happened. And then he takes Martinez and drags him. Well, then he knocks him off the camper, and he drags him into the pit with the walkers. And then the next day, everyone just assumes that he was drunk and had wandered in there. So Philip makes it clear. Now they need a new leader, though, and Pete was going to step in and be the leader, but they wanted to take a vote on it, so they're going to take a vote on it. And then Pete, Mitch, and Philip all go out to go hunting. And what happens is they meet, they see this camp, and they're going to go out for supplies. And they're like, and Mitch just wants to rob this camp. He wants to take their supplies because it's a survival world. But Pete doesn't want to do that because he doesn't want to hurt these people, and they want to find their own supplies, so they agree. And then eventually, Pete, they're just not really doing so well. So then what happens is Philip goes back to the camp, and it's already been robbed. So then Mitch is pissed about this, saying this could have been our supplies. So then he kills a guy that was probably still alive. He didn't turn into a walker or anything, but he was still alive, and they were just pissed about it. So then Phillips wants to leave. Him, Lily, Megan want to leave because they don't think he doesn't think it's safe there anymore. And at first she's reluctant, saying they need a nurse. This is a good place for Megan. Lily and Alicia are really getting along. But then eventually Philip's like, do you trust me? And so then they do leave. And then when they go to leave, I don't think they could leave because there were walkers in the way, and they were like glued in, I think they were stuck in the mud, so they couldn't escape. So then the next part gets great. Philip goes to Pete's camper, and I guess he says, I want to talk. And Pete thought he wanted to talk about Mitch. So he starts talking, and then he kills him. I think he stabbed him and choked him to death, which I was expecting. So then he goes to Mitch's camper and tells him what happened to Pete. And he offers him a cigarette, and he's like, I quit, man. So then Phillips talks about this story about how he quit too, and they went to got cigarettes, and my brother was the hero because he pretended that he stole them, but really I did, and he ended up getting 2 black eyes and bruised ribs, and I still got beat too. So then eventually he does smoke them, and they're both gonna run the camp together. So then they're gonna say that it's and Philip dumps Pete's body, and what they're gonna say happened to Pete was he got hurt going on the run for the supplies. Um, so then back at the camp, Philip still thinks that they can find a better place for him, and starts he dabs his eye, and Lily says you don't have to run this alone. So then Megan was playing tag with Taylor, and she, I, I guess, I think she's it. So she goes to tag, but instead it was a walker. I don't know how she thought she was it, but I don't know. So then the walker tries to get her. He actually had her by the leg, and then Taylor comes up and starts pulling its leg, and it comes off. So then the governor, Philip, he's not the governor anymore, but Philip eventually shoots it in the head, and everything's all quiet now. So then you see him looking up over the lake, and he's looking at Pete, and He turned into a walker, and I think he's chained to the bottom of the ocean because he can't seem to get up out of the water, which I think is absolutely hilarious. So then Philip takes a car, drives to the prison, which I expected him to go, and then it cuts to that scene I think that we saw 2 episodes ago when we finally saw Philip again, and we see Rick and Carl Farman, and he's about to point the gun at Michonne, who was with Herschel. And then it ends with that cliffhanger, wondering, is Michonne going to survive this? Is he going to kill Michonne? And I don't really know. So then now I think we're pretty much up to speed of what he's doing, which I'm glad they did this. They worked on it for 2 whole episodes, and Philip definitely hasn't changed. He's the same guy that he was in Woodbury. He's already killed 2 people since we've seen him again. He's killed Martinez, and then he killed Pete. So I wonder what's going to happen with this. I think what's going to happen is he's going to try to kill Michonne, and then Rick's group's going to find out. Well, Rick and all them are going to find out about it, and they're going to be back at war again. And then that and Philip's storyline will continue, and I'm happy about this because I wasn't getting mad, but kind of would have sucked if they gotten rid of it. So I'm glad they kept it going. And let's see what happens now. Now that we're finally up to speed, what he's been doing, we know what everybody else has been doing. So let's see what we can come up with. And as for the episode, I forgot to mention, this was a great episode. I think I pretty much already did say this, but I'm glad they recapped what he's been doing since we've seen him last. And yeah, so good episode. I'm gonna watch the next one now.